Cleveland Cavalier faithful, welcome on into a live episode of Cavs Encapsulated. It's Jeffrey, it's Logan, 4-0 for the boys. A resilient is the word I would like to call it for this victory tonight, Logan. A resilient 110 to 104 point victory for our Cleveland Cavaliers tonight against the New York Knicks. Your Cleveland Cavaliers move to 4-0 on this young season, while the New York Knicks move to 1-2. Initial thoughts, initial reaction. I want to dive into a little bit of the minutia of this game. Not going to take up too much of your guys' time tonight. We'll get it moving. Logan. Thoughts?
Yeah, I mean, gutsy victory. And I'll start with this. I think a JB Bickerstaff-led Cavaliers team doesn't win this game.
Love that. Love that out of the gate.
I'm going to start right there. That down 13, third quarter, things are looking dire. Sure, did we get some help? Might have. Brunson goes down for a little stretch. But I still think in that stretch, Kenny Atkinson made the right moves. I want to talk about Kenny Atkinson tonight. I'm sure we will, Jeffrey, because there's a few things. We'll talk about the good, a little shaky maybe at some points in this game, but overall, he made the adjustments. He goes to the right players, right personnel at the right time, and gets things done. But I think JB doesn't inspire this team to get back going. I think you're down 72. What was it, 72 to 59? I think is what the score was when Brunson goes down. But you talk about, look at a guy like Isaac Okoro, right? He plays 9 minutes today. He was a non-factor. He doesn't see the floor again. That's what Kenny Atkinson did. He knew that Okoro in this matchup was not the cure. I'm not messing with that. Garland. We'll talk. I want to talk about Darius Garland. There's all kinds of things I want to talk about from this game, but I want to start there. I want to know what you think, Jeffrey. I do think a team led by JB Bickerstaff does not get the job done tonight.
I absolutely love that point to start, honestly, and Bebo's bringing it up in the chat too. I mean, he basically wins this game for us in the fourth quarter.
Oh, Darius, yeah, big time.
I didn't see anyone else who was really stepping up and making that concerted effort to be like, okay, this is my game. We had a lot of even contribution throughout. Darius Garland, I would really have to go back and look because I don't want to speak too far out of turn, but that might have been better than any single game he played last season. Maybe.
I think you might have a point.
Unless I'm missing an outlier. It just felt like everything was good and everything was clean from him.
Well, I don't want to count like a 37.9 triple performance against the Pistons last year. I'm talking about real pressure. Correct. On the road, have to close it out. That's the best Darius has looked in a couple of years.
And take away the points, Logan. Take away the 3-point shots and all that. What happened last year in the last 4 minutes of football games? Jeez, I'm losing my mind here. The last 4 minutes of basketball games where he would just turn the ball over.
Yep, real sloppy.
Didn't really see that tonight. He looked composed. He looked confident when he is out there kind of just playing his brand of basketball with the fast twitching movements that he brings to the table. It's very difficult to stop him, especially against a team where they have to be starter heavy. Obviously, They had to go to the reserves because of the Brunson injury. And I want to talk about Atkinson too, because think about this game as an extension of the first 3 games. You don't have to utilize your guys a whole lot in the first 3 contests.
Yeah.
That's all fun and games. That's nice. It looks good, in the box score, get everybody involved. But when it comes to the extension of the season, that is exactly what you want. I just put this out over on X. I want to see your live reaction to it. Atkinson takes a little bit of a different route tonight, but it's not abnormal with the minutes distribution. It's not anything random or out of the ordinary. It's starter heavy because you play to win the game. It's not like you could rely on Jerome or Okoro, like you said, for a lot of minutes tonight. Even 15 minutes from Niang, he played a serviceable, basketball game tonight. Nothing to write home about, but he stuck with what worked, and then he went from there.
Yeah, that's exactly it, right? I mean, so often I felt like, and I don't want to make this about JB Bickerstaff. He's on to bigger things where we've moved on as well. But I think often last year, JB got into this mode where it's like, this is my game plan. I'm not straying away from it. This guy will play 25 minutes. And I think Kenny's like, see what's happening. Like Jerome was terrific the first 3 games. I think tonight, he was kind of looked quieter. Wasn't really the right matchup for him. He had a physical defender on him in Deuce McBride. And I just think some of the matchups didn't work. And we talked about this at the beginning of the year. We said guys like George Niang, guys like Sam Merrill, guys like Ty Jerome, those guys are going to be serviceable but in the right moments, in the right matchup. They're the guys that fill in everywhere else. Now, I think Jerome is honestly, truly our long-term backup point guard. It just wasn't the matchup for him. But I like that Kenny doesn't even waste his time. It's not working. He's not going to affect this game. That's not a knock on that player. That's simply, this isn't the matchup for you. We're moving on. We're going to go to what works. Tonight, Darius worked. Tonight, Mobley worked. Allen was good. Donovan, the numbers look good. There were some moments where Donovan was a little bit shaky. I think sometimes he forced the issue a little bit too much. But nonetheless, it's Donovan Mitchell. I want him on the court. Even Kenny, I think, called a timeout with 3.5 to go when Garland was on fire. I realized after the fact that he was trying to get Donovan on the court. But again, a little bit shaky there. But I think overall, how many times in the last couple of seasons have we made it so difficult on ourselves to close the game?
Very difficult. It was a little difficult tonight. We're not going to come on here and say this was a dominant wire-to-wire performance.
No.
It's a tough atmosphere at MSG. The Knicks have always played us well. Ashton, this is what I'm going to next, actually, because I think our narrative has to shift with this team, unfortunately, and I'm not. We're 4-0. It's going to be a fun season. This is a good basketball team. Everybody's expected that. Everybody has known that throughout the whole offseason. Can we elevate to great? Can we elevate to, premier? That's always going to be the pending question, obviously. This is going to be something that I think is controversial moving forward, Logan. As you look around the NBA, it feels like the teams that make the finals runs and the teams that win playoff series always have that 6th, 7th, and 8th guy who come onto the floor and they're super competent. They could score the basketball. They get their plus defenders. They rebound the ball, kind of like what New York has been recently, the last couple of years. Definitely
they lost that.
Definitely not this New York team now. I think I like that philosophy in the NBA. I like when the NBA is like that. It shows who the best general managers are. It shows who could draft. It shows who could make moves at the deadline. I'm cool with that. It's early. I'm off that train for the Cavs. Give me and that might be startling. And games like that might be startling. You look at the core four, and Ashton brings it up. Logan, 110 total points tonight for the Cleveland Cavaliers. 91 come from the core four. That is a number where you might say that's not sustainable. You're going to have people who could stop us in the playoffs. Bring it on. I want these guys. I want those guys at that number. Now, is that an insane amount? Yeah. Are you going to be able to win a whole lot of playoff games by getting 5, 6, 11, 16, 18 points from the bench? You might be surprised this year in the postseason, the NBA. You might be startled by the lack of bench production. Everybody has decided to go top heavy, especially in the East. The Knicks, Boston's the only team that's, Boston's primed and ready to win another championship. Everybody could see that. It's clear as day. That second level of teams that the Cavs could place themselves in. Do you have enough on a night in and night out basis to put up 80 to 90 points between, your 4 best players versus the Knicks' 4 best players versus Boston's 4 best players? Just anybody in the East. I think that at least you have a pretty good chance with Evan Mobley, Jared Allen. If Garland and Mitchell can continue to coexist and, make it work against defensive schemes, I'm not opposed to it, because how many times the last 2 seasons, Logan, where it's like, the postseason rolls around, we can't even look to criticize the bench because you have starters who aren't even playing at a high level. So let's go from there.
Yeah, I mean, let's start here, right? So beginning of the summer, said probably need to break up the core 4. And as the summer went on, I came around to the idea of, all right, keep the core 4, but improve the rest of the team. And you know what? I don't want to sit here and say they're making me eat my words. I don't think they're making me eat my words. I think when I first made that opinion, Darius Garland was on the decline. Evan Mobley, maybe I'm wrong in that regard. I thought Mobley can get a whole lot better. Don't get me wrong, but Mobley was not showing as much as I thought he would by year 3 last year. Allen was kind of he's got the rib injury. I don't know. It felt like we had 4 really good players, but 4 players that didn't play very well together at all times, or not even that you can rely on.
That was a valid assessment.
That you can rely on to win a game. And tonight in New York, bounced off of each other perfectly. So far through 4 games, that core 4 is really, really hard to stop. And like I said, I'll eat my words in that regard, but in the regard that when I made that point, I did not foresee this coming. When Darius Garland is right, not even all-star guard, just right, not turning over the basketball, hitting shots down the stretch, being clutch. when Evan Mobley's taken that leap like he has so far this year, yeah, we're a really good basketball team. And I would have told you at the beginning of the summer, don't give them the core four, because if I get this every night and then everybody else has to do their job, like guys like Karis LeVert, I'm not going to sit here and like everyone's like, oh, 6 man of the year, 6 man of the year, 6 man of the year. The guy comes and goes, but I do think he looks a whole lot better, more comfortable this year. He can just lead that second unit properly. He's put in lineups that work well. Like, I don't know. LeVert has really, really surprised me this year so far. And I think he was a big key tonight, especially when we're down 72-59. They were going at Garland, right? The Knicks have that size advantage. We wanted Wade on Brunson because we wanted to slow down, cut off the head of the snake. But then that leaves you with Garland on a guy, either Bridges or Anunoby, who's 5+, 7+ inches taller than him, and that just didn't work. But Atkinson made that move. He brought in Karis LeVert, and we went on that run with LeVert on the floor. Garland came in to pick up the pieces and take us home. So it was really, really cool the way that all panned out. I don't know where I got from there. Core four. Yeah, core four. Back to you, Jeffrey.
Core four. Honestly, and Ashton, I hope Mobley can keep this level 3-point shooting up. Maybe the volume up. That is gonna, and I'm gonna harp on this as my one. Not there's no negatives through 4 games because you're 4-0. You've done exactly what you need to do. You beat the 3 teams you're better than. You went out, competed. You came back in a resilient fashion against the New York Knicks. Absolutely exquisite stuff so far through 4 games. Nobody is going to deny that. Nobody is going to say, oh, well, we could have won these 4 games by more. At the end of the day, you're playing in a hostile environment today and you get the job done. Absolutely. You can't ask for much more. What I will say is Atkinson's approach has been at least I can measure what he says. When in the last X amount of seasons do you see JB come to the stand and say, oh, I want Darius Garland to take 10 threes a game. I want Mobley's volume to go up. Darius Garland tonight, 5 of 8 from 3. That is basically your factor that wins you the ball game. Is he getting to that 10 3-point mark every game? He's not. But at the end of the day, it's something that at least it was put out there. It was put into the media. Atkinson, I'm sure, said it to Garland behind closed doors in practice or whatever. Still, I would like to see Mobley take more threes. Only 1 tonight. I'm just not we saw what Boston did opening night. The formula is there and it's apparent. Go out there, shoot a bunch of threes. And I actually kind of think I heard Nick Wright make this point actually, and I did kind of agree with him. I do think it's actually a kind of a negative for the league. I think teams going out and shooting 50 to 63 pointers a game is going to get old.
Boston.
It's going to get boring. It's not really like good entertainment. I mean, how many high flying plays have you seen this year? I feel like the highlights as far as athleticism and ability are going to be on the downtrend because every analytical dude and every smart head coach, by the way, is going to be like, hey, we're putting up X amount of threes going on with our life. Was there any big yam in tonight's game besides what's his face on New York with the offensive foul? After that, I also
didn't agree with that. I'll be honest with you. I get it's the right call, but it's like
it's a soft call.
Let it go. That's a good
thing. Honestly, that's not. You have to kind of swallow your whistle there, just based off of the game basically. Dude, if that would have been Mobley or Allen, I would have been. If that would have been called on us, like Allen dunked on somebody and the call, that I would have been freaking out.
Yeah, I'd have been pissed, even though it's the right call.
Let's talk about something that's maybe a little bit more difficult and nuanced to talk about, Logan, because it's 4 games.
Yep.
Long season. It's not really that big of a sample size, but the sample size is going to continue. So I want to hear your thoughts. Is this team the most optimized with Dean Wade at the 3?
Yeah.
I think so too. I think it's you answered quick. I think it's a simple answer, but elaborate.
Max Strus is gone right now, and I don't like jumping to the conclusions of Dean Wade needs to be the starting 3 when Max Strus gets back. I don't like jumping to that. I do still believe in Max Strus, and honestly, to be quite frank, it's probably better to have Strus come off our bench because I do think there's a lot of those pieces like we talked about on that bench, the 6, 7, 8 guys who can you rely on consistently. You're hoping LeVert is that guy this year. Can he actually turn it into like a consistently good season game to game? Can he do that? Ty Jerome, you're hoping for similar output to the first 3 games before this Knicks game. And then, if Max Strus could be that 3rd guy, I don't think I believe in Dean Wade as a starter because of Dean Wade as much as I do fit and what we need in that starting lineup. You got the core 4. They all need the basketball. Max Strus, to get going, he needs the basketball as well. He needs to get his shots up. Wade does not need to shoot a single shot, and he affects the game. Today, he really, really struggled. I mean, don't get me wrong. He really struggled today. But having that, again, we talk about all the time, the Markkanen 3-big lineup light, big-time light. Don't get me wrong. I mean, we're talking like Diet Coke Zero right now, 3-big lineup. But I do think Dean Wade, it just allows you to have a more balanced starting lineup. I don't need another guy to shot chuck. I need that on my bench. I need shot chuckers on my bench. You know, guys like J.R. Smith back in the day, who obviously started many games with the Cavaliers. We originally brought him in to be that shot chucker. You know, there's other guys on that Cavalier bench that did the same thing. I think just from a construction standpoint, for a balanced standpoint, not only in your starters, your starting five, but also your bench, your first three guys off that bench, it just makes the most sense to have Dean Wade start. Obviously, I want to see what happens when Strus comes back, but long-term and what I think will actually work for this team. Also, if this team is freaking, who knows by the time Strus gets back, 15-5 or 13-7, I don't know, whatever it is. If they're playing good basketball, you don't change things.
Absolutely. And I think that just shows how good he's been through 4 games, because as you stated at the top of your thought there, he wasn't good tonight.
No,
he gives you a different look, and I'm sure I'm hoping we do play them. So we're going to see Milwaukee with Wade as the starter, presumably. We just saw the Knicks with Wade as the starter. When do we play Boston? We play Boston, the NBA Cup, November 19th. I highly doubt Strus will be ready for that. So those are my litmus tests.
Yeah.
Knicks, Bucks, Celtics. I'd like to see us play the 76ers with him as a starter if it's not a back-to-back and soft Joel Embiid is not ruining the league with his softness. Sorry.
Speaking of softness, I'm not going to do it tonight. We're not going to do it tonight. We're not going to do it.
But that is your measuring stick. Wade, it creates a totally different element and people are like, oh, you're splitting hairs and this and that. Like, yeah, Max Strus is 6'4", strict 6'5", Dean Wade is 6'7", 6'8". That's a huge difference against this Knicks lineup.
I got to have that. Yeah.
This is you basically turn, and I think Garland was good tonight. And I think Donovan Mitchell
defensively, yes.
Defensively, my mind's running quicker than my mouth. Honestly, I thought like, when Wade is out there, you just eliminate one more defensive liability. And that's not to disparage Max Strus, but if you have a 3 to 4 inch height difference, that's automatically a mismatch. Can Donovan Mitchell play good defense? Yes, he can. Can Darius Garland play good defense? He played good defense.
He's motivated. Tonight. Dude, he locked up Brunson today. We talked about that in transition, ripping that ball, and he blocked. I thought Wade got that block. Bebo got up and sent that away.
Bebo brings it up. Garland played best defense of his career tonight. I mean, maybe it's true, but honestly, if you have a mismatch against Strus, if you have a mismatch against one of your guards, and then one of your guards is even playing average defense, you're behind the 8 ball here, and everybody knows, can Mobley make up for it? Yes. Can Allen make up for it? Yes. But when it gets to the end of the year, when people aren't 100%, you need to play team defense to win NBA championships. It's not like, okay, the defensive player of the year is going to catapult you to an NBA finals ring. Logan, really quickly here, let's kind of wrap up this situation tonight, and we're gonna get phoned in predictions from Justin for this week. I'm sure he's out there watching, or he'll be watching the replay. Couldn't make it on tonight, but we all said the Cavs were going to win tonight. I got to actually start keeping track of this because I haven't started yet.
Our chart, yeah.
I got to find a little bit more appealing chart, I think. But let's just go real quick, even maybe a little rapid fire here on what we think moving forward. An absolute banger on the schedule Wednesday. LeBron and Jr. and company in the land Wednesday night.
Come on.
Then Orlando, then the Bucks. Let's just do these next 3 real quick here.
Yeah, I like that. So since LeBron's left us, we've beat him 1 time in Cleveland. That was Mitchell's first year, if I'm not mistaken.
They're playing good.
They're playing good ball. But they're not going to play good ball on Wednesday. I have no idea. But I really do feel good about the Cavaliers. It's time to get these Lakers. It's time to get LeBron. And I said it last year. Remember, Jeffrey, when I got on my tangent last year, we were playing like 500 ball. We were kind of playing like crap. And I was like, LeBron James plays for the Los Angeles Lakers. We are rooting for the Cleveland Cavaliers.
Sometimes you got to let them know.
I love seeing LeBron come home. I want to send him home with a giant L on Wednesday. Correct. And I think the Cavaliers are going to do just that. There's just something about this Cavaliers team. I don't know if I just kind of smell it early in this season. That core four is tough to beat. You're going to go against LeBron. You're going to go against AD. They have a good balance around them with Rui Hachimura, D'Angelo Russell. Reeves has his moments. I'm trying to think of any Cavalier killers that might be on that team. That's always the key with any team. LeBron James is a Cavalier killer. He's
D'Angelo Russell.
D'Angelo Russell has his moments against the Cavaliers. I don't know what it is. I just feel good about it. It's a primetime game. It's like it's LeBron versus the Cavs.
Must-see TV, basically.
I think the Cavs get it done this time. I feel good about us.
Honestly, I'm going to hit you with it real quick. I'm liking the Cavs against the Lakers. I do think we take our first loss against Orlando. That's a good storyline for the
That
league.
could be the trap. Yeah, that trap game. Just like I do agree with you.
One day in between these but all of these games. But I mean that is that's a home game. 2 home games in a row. So I'm going to go Cavs. I think the Magic beat us. I think we beat the Bucks on Saturday
in Milwaukee.
Yep.
I'm going to go the opposite of you.
Okay.
I have taken only Cavs so far. I'm going to say we still get one on the Magic. And I don't know. What did Banchero finish with today? He had 37 points at half.
He's a monster.
I mean, the Magic are coming. They're definitely next. They're right here with the Cavaliers to try to take over the Eastern Conference when Boston maybe F's off for a little bit. But
they're 3-1. Box score tonight looking like 50 for Banchero. 50, 13, and 9. Yeesh.
They're going to have retribution on their mind. I just feel good about the Cavs at home. If it was in Orlando, I would take the Magic. But I'm going to take Cavaliers at home, and I have us losing our first game of the season on the road in Milwaukee.
So you got to start in 6-0.
That's correct.
Love it. Honestly, the optimism is there. I think and for good reason. It's not blind optimism at this point. It's not like we've stumbled our way to 4-0. You handle 3 teams who you're superior to. Facts.
Yep.
Facts. That's all you could say for the first 3 games. Obviously, we're going to recap them more. We're going to talk about it, but Atkinson pulling all the right strings so far. And then you walk into MSG and, you beat a team that's good. You beat a team that made a bunch of offseason moves who is going to be trying hard this year, this regular season, to make it all work and to make the chemistry kind of flow. And you go on with your life. You got LeBron James and company rolling into town Wednesday night at the Rock. Logan, final thoughts here before we cap it.
I want to give a shout out. Coach Flannery always said that he always loved to learn lessons in victories.
Ooh.
You know what I mean? So like today, we might have sat here and been like, oh God, it felt like we were about to blow that game. It did down the stretch. A couple of fouls, but
yes.
Towns and Brunson at the line, they make 3 out of 4 free throws, and you're thinking, okay, here we go again. But no, the Cavaliers get it done, but they did learn about things about closing the game. I think Atkinson learned a lot about managing timeouts, and my God, the almost 8-second violation on Mobley, almost forgot all about that. That was almost catastrophic.
That was a great call by Kenny. That was great.
And he had to take both timeouts in order to get to advance the ball rather. So it was real smart and it had to be done. But I do think they learned a lot in victory, and that's in any basketball game. That's all you hope for. This Cavaliers team looks really, really good so far, folks. I mean, plenty of time left in this season. It's not going to stay this way. There's going to be some peaks and valleys for sure. But I'm becoming a believer big time in the core four, much more than I was, let's say, at the end of last season. So, should be really fun. Looking forward to this week of basketball. It's going to be more tests, right? We have great tests coming up, and that's all we can ask for. We need that early.
Love it. Yeah, I'm loving the way this schedule has shaped up here, the first 10 contests. But if you're still with us here, make sure you're hitting that like button. Make sure you're subscribed or following us on X, wherever you're watching this tonight. Everybody being in here, absolutely love it. Logan's next to me. I'm Jeffrey, co-host here at the Cleveland Pulse at the Cavs Encapsulated Weekly Cavaliers Show. And with that all being said, we appreciate you being the pulse of it all. Peace.